Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KO Boxing Gym in London. Press conference ahead of a night of professional boxing on Friday, 8th of October at York Hall, Bethnal Green, London. Brought to you by Warren Boxing Management and Priority Boxing Promotions. We are also joined here today by Warren Boxing Management's very own Alfie Warren. Thank you for joining us. And on the night we have a heavyweight division clash for the vacant British Boxing Board of Control Southern Area title. Heavyweight title, which includes Dominic Akinlade versus Jonathan Palata. Also ahead, we've got some action in the bantamweight division for the vacant IBF International Bantamweight Championship, which includes Ashley Sexton and Antonio Guzman. And also making a professional debut in amateur standout, we're also joined by Louise Orton. So now we're going ahead for the heavyweight clash between Dominic Akinlade and Jonathan Palata. I'll start with you, Dominic. So, how's your preparation been for this fight?
Yeah, it's gone very well. I have a new trainer, Chris Oko, and we've worked very, very well together. I've known him for a long time, so I trust everything he says. And, you know, it's something I've done this before. I've had to start all over again. But this is a place where I've been. I know what it is like to win the Southern Area title. I know what you need to do. So I feel in this fight, I probably have the advantage like that mentally.
So also, what do you think about your opponent, Jonathan? Do you know much about him? What do you think about him?
Yeah, man, I know John. We've sparred together before. He's from the ends. You know, we know each other. I know his capabilities and his limitations, and you know, he knows a little bit about me. But yeah, we're generally we're good, you know. So I feel that this is kind of like a crossroads fight on both of our parts, where we haven't fought for over a year because of COVID and everything like that. And I feel in this situation, we're both gonna give all we can in order to get the title. But I feel I've got the edge in that.
Awesome. Jonathan, coming over to you, so how are you feeling about this fight? How's your preparation been?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Preparation's been excellent. I'm trained by Terry Dixon. We've been training diligently, focused. So yeah, I'm feeling very good. Feeling great, yeah. Feeling very good.
Also, what would winning this title mean for you?
Everything. Winning this title is an opportunity to make something out of boxing, puts me back in a position where I can compete at a high level, where I can progress from this onto the higher stages and compete with other competitors in obviously in boxing and heavyweight division, which is what I am. And so it means a lot to me, and because I know it means so much to me, I was really focused on it. I haven't left any stones unturned. I've diligently trained, and I've made sure I've given my all to this camp. So it means more than you can imagine.
And what can we expect to see on October 8th?
Expect me to bring my best, to bring the best version of me, which is what's the most important thing, is bringing the best version of yourself. When you bring the best version of yourself, then you're confident in what you're doing. And to be enabled to bring the best version of yourself, you have to diligently prepare yourself, which is what I've done. Like Dominic said, I know him, he knows me well. It's nothing but mutual respect. So, like I said, it's a crossroads thing, but I know how hungry I am, what this means to me, and how much I've come to this position. So yeah, the next is where the speaking will be finished, isn't it?
That's a good fight. Thank you very much. Also, one last question for you, Dominic. What should we expect to see from you on October 8th?
As I said, with Chris, he's a guy who's very meticulous in the way in which he trains you, and any faults that I did have, he would have definitely corrected them. And in terms of my weight and everything, my power, everything is just perfect. So I'm very, very excited for this fight. I'm looking forward to it. And as Jonathan said, I expect him to bring the very, very best. I hope he comes forward, and because that will make the fight a lot easier, but if I have to go searching, we've prepared for that too. So yeah, I'm ready to go.
Thank you very much. Alfie Warren, can we have your thoughts on this fight? What have you got to say?
Yeah, it's a fantastic fight. When it was put towards us, I mean, I spoke to Ian about it a few months ago. We know that this fight was supposed to happen before COVID. We've resurrected the fight, and I'm very, very pleased that we've got it on such a great bill. Thank you for Fightzone as well for picking the fight up. It deserves a platform like this. And, you know, these guys are now one win away from getting back into the domestic scene now. You know, I mean, the Southern Area Championship, any area belt which someone wins, you know, propels you up to there. It gets you a step closer to the British level and all these guys. But, you know, listen, these guys have been and done it. You know, they've had their setbacks, they've had their glory days, they've had everything. But, yeah, I make Dominic right and I make Jonathan right. It is a crossroads fight, and that's what makes it much more interesting for it being a crossroads fight. You know, there's so much to gain for these guys. You know, there's so many great fights out there with the heavyweight in the heavyweight division, and it's fitting. It's on this weekend. You know, we've got on February the 8th. The next night we've got the big one, Tyson Fury and Wilder as well. So it's you know, a little appetizer of what's to come on that fight. So yeah, I'm really happy, and I can't see anything but this fight being explosive. And if it goes the distance, I'll be very, very shocked.
Thank you very much. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dominic Akinlade versus Jonathan Palata on the 8th of October at York Hall for the vacant British Boxing Board of Control Southern Area title, heavyweight title. So ahead of on the show, we've also got some bantamweight division action for the vacant IBF International Bantamweight Championship with Ashley Sexton and Antonio Guzman. So, Ashley, so how's your build-up been?
My build-up's been great. COVID-free, so obviously last time it got all messed up. Because I tested positive on the last show. So yeah, I kept my mask on and I kept healthy and I'm eating my veg. And I'm in good shape. I'm ready to fight. I can pretty much say what I want because my guy ain't here yet, so I can call him all the names I want. But no, yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to win this title. Yeah.
So what do you think about your opponent?
I think he's got a great record. You know, he's 21 wins, 17 knockouts, and two defeats. But you know, he's boxed in Venezuela. He's boxed in Bolivia, I believe. You know, he's not going in with the caliber that I am. He's not fighting people that are putting him under pressure. He's getting I wouldn't say easy wins, but there's levels in this sport, and he hasn't boxed at the level that I'm at, so I'm confident of a big win.
Looking at Antonio's record, he has quite a high KO ratio, 17 KOs. Is that any concern to you?
It's not like when you look at who I spar with on a regular basis. Like Kiko Martinez was a huge puncher, and you know, I've had countless rounds with him, and all sorts of people, like too many to mention. So he's knocking out guys that I believe I'd knock out quicker. So you know, it's all about levels again, and I don't believe this is my level, and this will help me gate crash the world rankings and put me in position to fight the winner of Casey Comedian and Jazz Ahmed for the super flyweight title.
So what can we expect to see on October 8th?
Obviously I've moved camps. I'm now based up in Hotbox with Sablio, and I feel like everyone down there, there's such a team atmosphere that not that anyone else I've trained with hasn't had that, but I just feel like I'm more grounded now, and I'm not young anymore. I'm 33 years old, so I'm wise, and you know, I had 97 amateurs, which was quite a lot. I'm now on my 22nd fight as a pro. I've had a big long break, but I'm back and I'm ready to take over again.
So if you can take your pick Who would you pick if you could face either Casey Kadimi or Idris Ahmed?
Do you know what? I don't care. I honestly don't care. Just anyone. I've already said to all the Warrens, like, get me one and I'll just defend against the next one, whoever lost. You know, just line them up.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you.
From Ashley Sexton. So the bantamweight, vacant IBF international bantamweight title. The microphone's out.
Let's carry on.
So what's your thoughts on that, Alpha Warren, on that, ahead of that clash?
Fantastic fight for Ashley to get back into it. You know, he's had a long layoff and he's come back in. I want another viral knockout, Ashley. Exactly the way we did. Exactly. You know, I mean, everyone knows the clip with Ashley knocking out our man Uzi, and you know, that's what we want to see from Ashley. You know, he brings excitement. You know, he's a contender. You know, he's had his warm-up fights. He's had his warm-up fights coming back. He's been abroad, done what he's had to do, and you know, I think this fight's going to propel him. Like he said, you know, he's been driving us mad for the winner of Casey and Isjad. What a fight that'd be! What a fight that'd be! Either one of them, and you know, I know that Ashley's bang up for that, and he's bang confident that he would beat either one of them. But listen, he's got this guy in front of him. You know, you can't overlook him, and I don't think Ashley's going to be stupid enough to overlook him. So we're in for a treat. You know, we've got two great title fights on the night at York Hall, and you know, we've been very, very blessed coming back from York Hall, and the shows that what we've done. You know, we've had 2 Fight of the Year contenders on our shows already, with Lewis Isaac, Dan Morley, Boy Jones Jr. and Conor Marsden, and we've got 2 fights here that will, you know, that are potential fights of the year as well. And you can't get a better setting in York Hall, because I think it brings that place. I mean, all these guys have fought in that hall, and they'll tell you that place brings the best out of everyone. And you know, even for the fans, come down there, because you know, it's you never get a better atmosphere. It's the best night out that you can imagine, and all these guys are going to deliver on the night. So I'm just looking forward to it.
So just say it does go Ashley's way. Do you think next in line could be a Casey Kadimi or Idris Ahmed?
Absolutely. Why not? You know, I mean, that fight will sell. Ashley's a big name still. A win against Guzman puts him right up there, and you know, I don't see any reason why that fight can't be made. Anyway, especially, I mean, even if it's not next.
I was going to say, I think we can squeeze one in before that.
No, that's right. So we can squeeze one in, but I mean, even if it's not, you know, their next fights and all that, but it's a fight that certainly sells, and you know, whether it's Casey or Isjad fighting Ashley, that fight's going to bring non-stop action. So, absolutely. And me being Casey Kadimi's manager, absolutely. I'd say absolutely yes to that. I mean, I know that we work with Mo Pryor, and we're partners with Ashley and all that. So it is an easy fight to make, and it's a fight that I want to see.
Awesome, thank you very much. So there you have it. Ashley Sexton against Antonio Guzman, 8th of October at York Hall for the vacant IBF International Bantamweight Championship. Tune in, it's going to be exciting. So we're also joined here, making her professional debut. She was an amateur.
Finally.
She was an amateur stand-up, Louise Orton. Thank you for joining us. How are you feeling about your debut?
Yeah, good. Like you said, finally, it's been a long time coming. Been in the gym since 4th of January, waiting for this fight. Kept getting pushed back, so haven't had a lot of time out of the gym. So yeah, I'm more hungrier now than I was before. It just needs to happen now.
So what do you know about your opponent?
Well, not a lot really, because it's changed. So yeah, found out the new opponent yesterday. I know she's got an even record, 15 wins, 15 losses. She boxed one of my friends who I spar quite regularly as well. She boxed her last month, Lucy Wildheart. I think Lucy got a 4th round stoppage with her, so I know she's beatable. I know she's stoppable. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Brilliant. So she's got like quite a few professional fights. I think 42, if I counted correctly. Does that concern you at all? That she's
Not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. I think although they might have had that as professionals, about countless amounts as amateur. I know it's a little bit different, but you've still been through the same experience that many times, and to be honest, I'll get in the room with anyone at the minute.
So what can we expect to see on the 9th, October 8th?
You're going to see fireworks, you're going to see fire, and you're just going to see how hungry I am to prove that I am the female boxing best kept secret.
Brilliant, thank you. Alfie, your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I've been banging the drum for a long time about Louise, and it's been so frustrating for her. You know, we wanted her to get out since the start of the year. She was supposed to be out in March during COVID. That show fell apart. We've been trying to get her countless times. She was actually going to be on the same show where Ashley tested positive for, and Ashley's for it. But obviously, listen, that fell apart. But you know what? You can't look back on these things. Listen, these things happen in boxing, and you know, I just don't want to be. I wouldn't want to be that girl in the ring with Louise on the night. I'm telling you that, because I know the pent up frustration, pent up everything. But I don't want her going in, you know, all guns blazing. I want Louise to show everyone exactly why, especially us lot and everyone in boxing knows like how good this woman is. Because honestly, she just said she's the best kept secret in the women's division, but she won't be on October the 8th. Everybody's going to know what she's got, and what comes of it. And after October the 8th, we should have some big news regarding with Louise as well, and it's very well deserved. But at the moment, just got to focus on October the 8th, put the performance in, and we're going to show, because she's going to be a big force, especially in the super featherweight division. We've got so many there's so many great fights to make down the line, and we're going to be, after October the 8th, we'll be keeping her very, very busy. And you know, I know everyone's always going to say it, you know, we manage Louise, but I seriously think that this lady's going to pick up a world title. Honestly, I would bet my house on it. That's how good she is. And October the 8th, everyone's going to find out exactly how good she is.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So just for the viewers viewing at home, what can we expect on October the 8th from you, Alfie?
Yeah, well, listen, well, not from me. I'll be from the show. I'll be sitting in the crowd anyway. That's what we'll be expecting from me. No, but no, listen, we've got a great undercard lined up as well. So we've got 2 great title fights. We've got Louise making her pro debut. We've got the likes of Ben Smith, Louis Green, to mention others that are going to be on there. The place will be packed out. We want to make it even more packed out. So, guys, listen, if you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets now. Anyway, we've got a week left to go. It's a lovely little advertiser for the big one on the 9th. And, you know, get your beaks wet. Come see some great boxing at York Hall, because especially these 2 title fights, it's not going to disappoint. It's not going to disappoint. And I think it's going to be another small hall classic from what we've been putting on the last couple of months as well. So it's another notch to add to our shows and the quality that we're putting on. So yeah, just please tune in or get your tickets and come down.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, October 8th at York Hall, Bethnal Green, also streaming live on Fightzone. Sure to tune in. Tickets are available. It's going to be fun.
So, Louise, you've been out in the ring for 2 years now since when you're elite national championship. Do you think you've got a lot of ring rust, or do you feel like you're ready to
Ring
go
rust
again?
don't exist. I think that's just an excuse people use. How can you say that when you're in the gym every day, you're in the ring every day, you're sparring? Like, I think the only thing that's going to be different is the fact we've no head guard. That's obviously in the amateurs you have a head guard, so I think that will be the big difference. But to be honest, on the night, I think that's going to be the least thing that you're thinking about. For me, I'm just going to be focused on getting in there and performing the best that I can.
Actually, so you haven't had a warm-up fight for this one. You're going in for a 10-rounder.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're supposed to have a warm-up fight on July 31st, tested positive. How do you feel going in on the 10-rounder from the comeback?
I'm a 12-round fighter, so it doesn't make a difference to me. We've had the sparring, I train hard, put the rounds in, and I'm ready. I'll always be ready. I wouldn't get ready if I wasn't.
And obviously winning this title will mean a big domestic clash after the fight. Names like George Fox, David Akinlade, Johnny Fisher. Would you welcome these fights? Yeah.
100%, definitely. It's just right now, just focus on this fight first, and we can talk about whatever you want afterwards.
Like this and so yeah, this is what's most important because this is what leads on to anything else. So before I oversee anything else, I need to focus on this, and that's what I've done. So this is.
Listen, that's what they're in here for. It's what every single fighter is here for. They want these fights as well. And you know, the thing about these guys is they've been there, done it. They've been in with everyone as well. They're, especially Dominic and John. They're not going to shy away from anyone. You know, there's no ducking, anything like that. They know what it. Listen, they know what it's like to taste defeat. They're not scared to be, you know, going in for any challenges or anything like that. But they've got winners' mentalities. You know, they're here. They're going to fight for the Southern Area title. It's a prestigious title. It's a prestigious title, and even just to win that, you know, to have that, you know, after the Southern Area champion, that's, you know, that's an accolade you're always going to have for the rest of your life.
Any other questions from there?
Question for Dominic. You've been in there with a lot of big names. You've obviously been in this situation. You won the Southern Area title. Names like Sokolowski, Gorman, Martin Bacoli. Do you believe that plays a big advantage on yourself against Jonathan?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as I said, I've done the 10 rounds twice. So I know exactly where my mistakes were in those fights, and they've been corrected. So, I mean, yeah, we haven't fought for over a year, but to be honest with you, I'm not really bothered by that. You know, if it goes the difference, it goes the distance. But the way I feel, I don't think it will. And I'm sure John's going to come out with the same type of exuberance and determination. But there's only going to be one winner that night.
Jonathan obviously hasn't been stopped before. What do you think that you've got that the fighters he's been in with so far haven't been able to do?
There's a couple of guys who've never been stopped before, but everyone gets stopped at some point. But to be honest with you, it's not really the most important thing is the win on the night. Yeah? And if the fights get stopped, then cool. If it doesn't, I'm ready for that too. So, yeah.
Question for Ashley. Ashley, you mentioned Antonio Guzman is not fought outside of Venezuela and Bolivia.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have a big fan base. Always do well with spectators. How much do you think of advantage you have going into this fight, having been on home territory?
Can you imagine coming over to Bethnal Green from Venezuela? Like, it's going to be freezing cold, time difference. Your calls are either too hot or too cold, like for the fighters. And then he's gonna walk in the ring and they're gonna be screaming, like he's gonna think, what is this? He's come to a war zone. So yeah, I don't think I'd like to do it the other way around. So yeah, I mean, and that's an advantage for me. So I'm counting on making a noise and making it a hostile atmosphere for him. And time difference. Weather, we've got the worst weather in the world over here, haven't we, at the minute? Like, it's up, down, it's going to be freezing cold, I know, when he comes, so yeah, I'm happy with that, because I'm used to the cold. He's not. He's probably going to get off his Virgin Atlantic in his swim shorts and a vest. It's going to be freezing. Alfie's going to have to go and buy him a jacket and some long johns.
Nah, I'll leave him in his shorts.
So yeah, no, so I'm happy with the advantages I've got.
Louise, how itching are you ready to get out there and get the debut out of the way? It's obviously, that's what people always say about debuts, it's about getting them out of the way. But how long have you been waiting for this moment?
Well, I got my licence in November 2019 is when I actually turned over. I was meant to box in February before I was managed by Royal Boxing Management, but that fell through. Then COVID hit, so we spent pretty much the rest of that year not boxing at all. Signed with Alfie again, beginning of this year we was meant to box, it's not happened. So yeah, I'm more anxious in the sense that I'm worried that something's going to go wrong again because where it keeps happening before, it's kind of like, are we going to get there this time? Like the last show, obviously, like Ashley said, he tested positive the day before, so that's as close as I've got so far the day before. So I hope this time I make it to the day and to the night. So yeah, just can't wait for it to happen now.
Sorry, I promised the last one. Ashley, you mentioned you want to fight the winner of Ijas Ahmed v Casey Kadimi.
Yeah.
I spoke to Ijas about 2 hours ago and he was adamant that he won. I know Alfie Warren might have something to say about that. Did you watch that fight, and if so, who do you think won?
Me personally, I thought Ijas won, but I think it depends on what you like and what you look for. I'm still arguing with people over the Golovkin and Canelo fight. I had Canelo both fights by 2, but everyone sees shaking his head at me now. But I think it depends on what you like and what sort of style you box in, or how I box. I'm a front forward fighter. I'm a pressure fighter, so I want to stick it on him. So people moving away, I'm sort of like, oh, he's running away. But that might be what you like. You might like the science of boxing, and you know, I'm not a judge, thank God. So yeah, it's, you know, but they was both close fights, so they're hard to call, and that's why one was a win, one was a draw, but they was both very close. So yeah, take nothing away from either of them, but I'd love to get in there with both of them.
Question for Louise. Time to stir the pot a little bit.
This is coming.
Alfie's always spoken highly of you. Best kept secret in women's boxing. Future world champion. He believes you versus Amy Andrews in the future will be the biggest women's boxing fight in British history. Maybe one of the best in women's boxing ever. What's your thought of that future fight?
Yeah, I've boxed Amy Andrews. Amy was one of my friends in the amateur game, but like you say, we've come over to the pros now, and sometimes your powers become your enemies, but doesn't mean that out of the ring it's going to be that way. It just means for that particular fight, obviously, if it's got to happen, it's got to happen. You've got a fight who's put in front of you, and you just have to put your differences aside. You can't kind of pick and choose who's at your weight and who's kind of mandatory for certain fights. So if it happens, and yeah, good to go.
Alfie, what's your thoughts on that fight?
Fantastic fight. You know, if that is built up right, that would be an absolute monster of a fight. You know, I think at the moment you've got, I think the biggest fight that will be on these shores in women's boxing will probably be Katie Taylor and Chantal Cameron. And you know, these guys, you know, they're the new breed coming up in the pro ranks. Amy and Louise work very closely with Amy as well. Amy's a terrific fighter. You see on her debut before, you know, and yeah, Louise is the same. I think it'd be a fantastic fight, and built correctly, it will be. And if there's a world title attached to it, even better. But you know, I think it's one of those fights. Even if it wasn't a world, even if there weren't a world title attached to it, you know, it's just a fantastic fight. But early days to even talk about that fight yet. Anyway, really, really early days. But they're both in the same, both the same weight category. You never know. Listen, by the time they get to that stage, you know, one might be gone up, one might be going down. You know, so they might not meet. But at the moment, for women super featherweight, I think that's a monster fight out there. But like I say, very, very early days.
Some questions for Louise. So the super featherweight, they're doing another Muhammad Ali trophy. Obviously the dates haven't been confirmed yet. If you get enough fights under your belt, would you like to enter?
I'd go in it for my debut. Put me in it, yeah, 100%. The better the person in front of me, the better I box, because the harder the competition, the more you've got to work. So yeah, I'm all up for that, 100%.
So would that be something you'd like to strive for? Obviously, if it's a later date, you get the fights in.
Definitely. Tell me the date and the time, and I'll be there.
Any further questions? We all good? Thank you very much for coming down, guys.
Thank you. So tune in Friday, October 8th at York Hall, Bethnal Green, London, ahead of this cracking card brought to you by Warren Boxing Management and Priority Boxing.
Thank you.